Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Real Talk About Feminism podcast. We are here with a new episode. We really hope you guys enjoyed our last episode, Healing Girls Summer, because we were super vulnerable, and thank you for letting us share all of that with you guys. I know I was a little bit nervous just because it's not something that I really like to talk about right now.
It's a huge thing.
Yeah, and like literally my life has been turned upside down. So thank you for letting me share.
Yeah, we hope that you guys are also having your Healing Girl Summer and, just take care of yourself.
Yeah, honestly, it's like those TikToks where it's like living my Miley Stewart summer,
Yes.
where it's just
Miley
like,
Stewart.
isn't that her last name?
Her last name is not Stewart.
Isn't it Stewart?
Miley, what is her last? It is
I'm
not
pretty sure
Stewart.
it's Stewart. In Hannah
Miley-
Montana, the movie?
Yeah. Cyrus last name in Hannah Montana. Oh, it is Stewart.
Miley Stewart.
Oopsies.
I'll
Okay,
forgive
yeah.
you for that one.
Yeah, you
Just
can forgive
kidding.
me.
But no, like really where it's like reconnecting with your family and like just getting in touch with who you are, reconnecting with nature. Like I just want that to be like my summer and like my next few months.
It's like those TikToks that are like, I'm connecting with my inner child. Like
Exactly.
all of
Yeah.
those. I love that. So yeah, that's us this summer, you guys, and that should be you. And we're all healing together. So thank you guys for giving us the space to get vulnerable last episode. I almost said last semester.
Okay, girl. Let's get into it.
But we're getting into it, okay?
Okay. My obsession for this week is my slippers. They're the cutest things ever.
I
Like
do like
$20 on Amazon. They're white and fluffy. And I just don't like my bare feet being on the wood floor. So I wear them constantly.
Yeah. My equivalent to those are my $5 knockoff rubber Birkenstocks.
That you tie-dyed during quarantine.
Yeah, I tie-dyed them during quarantine, and for some reason, like, I have plenty of other slip-on sandals. There's nothing that compares to those. So I totally get it. Like, it's nice to not have your feet on the bare floor.
Yeah, those knockoff sandals.
Love them.
What was your other quarantine project? I forgot.
My bleach
You kind of went
jeans.
crazy. Yeah.
Did I? No, I only did those things.
I
But
feel
my
like you
bleach jeans
did.
I actually really like.
Yeah, those are cute.
Yeah, and they're like low-waisted. They were before the low-waist trend, so
Yeah, I hate the low waist trend.
yeah, I honestly hate it now too. But yeah, I like that obsession. My obsession is hats, as well as it being a healing girl summer. It's a hat girl summer for me.
Yes.
And I've been waiting to say that.
It is a healing girl summer, a hot girl summer, and a hat girl summer.
Yeah, I've never worn hats before. Like I don't like the way beanies look on me. But I got this really cute. I had to wear it because I knew I was going to be talking about it this episode. So I got this really cute pink trucker hat.
I love the trucker hats.
Yeah.
They're so cute.
I love them. And honestly, like, how cute would it be to have real talk trucker hats?
Yes.
Adorable.
Yes. In that color.
Yeah, literally in this color. So cute. But yeah, I got this from H&M and I've been wearing it constantly, and it actually caused me to bust out like two of my other, like, I just have two other ball caps. One of them is for my friend Will, New York something. I don't know what. Knicks?
The Yankees.
Oh, the Yankees.
Yeah.
Oopsies. Yeah, one of them is a Yankees
I'm pretty sure the
hat.
Knicks. Isn't that the basketball team?
I think so.
I don't know.
All I know is that a bunch of people were wearing it in New York. But he gave that to me last year before I moved. So I have that one, and then I also got a really cute pink one before, just a regular pink ball cap. Before I went to the Grand Canyon. So I've been wearing those, and it's been really cute.
Cute.
Yeah.
I'm just scared because I like hats too, but like I am scared to wear it with my piercing.
Yeah, I just put it on over it and hope for the best, honestly.
It's just still tender.
Yeah, so is mine. I actually had Sadie deep clean it yesterday, and it felt
I
really
saw
good.
that on your story. Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Yeah, so those are our obsessions. So I don't know if my face is shadowed right now, but I had to show off the hat. So
it's really cute.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you. It honestly feels really cute to wear a hat in the gym.
Yeah, like, I've always wanted to be a hat gym girly.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's so cute. So yeah, those are our obsessions.
All right, today's feminist highlight is Francia Marquez. She's the first Black vice president of Colombia, and she actually was the 2018 Goldman Prize winner. And the Goldman Prize is awarded to grassroots leaders who take significant action for the planet. So she's a huge environmental activist. In addition to that, she's also a huge activist for her Afro Colombian community.
Okay.
And those kind of go hand in hand because she, like, her main platform and main purpose has been to end illegal mining on her ancestral land because
Wow.
apparently that's a very huge issue. And she did something about it. Like, she wasn't just like, we need to do this. Like, she actually organized a 10-day, 350-mile march with over 80 women, and they marched all the way to the nation's capital. And as a result of this, the government actually did something about it. And they
Wow.
actually removed all the illegal miners and equipment from her community.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's huge.
huge. And like I said, she was just elected the first Black vice president of Colombia. So there's other things that she's been super passionate about and helped to change, but that is her main platform. And I just think it's really cool. I saw the article on New York Times and I was like,
Mhm.
she is awesome.
That's awesome. Honestly, like, I love doing the feminist highlights every episode. Like, I love hearing about it because there are so many strong female leaders
Mhm.
that go unnoticed and that we don't hear about. But, like, there are so many out there, such good role models. So good for her.
Yeah, and I think it's cool too how she's super passionate about helping the environment because that's a huge issue.
Mhm.
And I feel like a lot of people, that's not their focus, which is fine, but like it's something that needs attention.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah. Well, today's episode is about early Scandinavian feminism. And most of the information that I got to research for this episode is from that feminism book that we talked about
Mhm.
a month ago or so.
Yeah.
But it is a really cool book. It's a really great resource if you're looking for information on feminist topics.
Yeah, and this is the first episode of a little series that we're starting. And we're not necessarily going to do like once a month. We haven't really defined it yet, but we're going to be doing a series on different types of feminism. So,
Yeah.
like in the past, like way at the beginning, it was like episode 12, I think, we covered ecofeminism. And Ken's did a really good job at researching that topic, and it was really fun. So we just decided, like, let's do a little series on the different types of feminism.
Yeah. And Haley recently did intersectional feminism, which was
Mhm.
really good too. I thought that was very, very informational. And
Yeah.
there's all types of feminism.
Mhm.
So we'd like to highlight all of them
Mhm.
eventually.
Yeah, so this is going to be like episode 1 of our little types of feminism series.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, let's get started.
Okay. For some context, Scandinavia is a region in Europe and it includes Denmark, Norway, and Sweden. So it's encompassing all three of these countries, but a lot of the feminism movement started and went through Sweden.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah. And this movement coincided with the Age of Enlightenment, which, for those that don't know, it was a movement that happened in Europe in the 17th, 18th, and 19th centuries. And it was a movement that was focused on liberty and happiness. And as like in school when we're learning about US history, like that's a huge topic. Like for some reason it's like one that I really remember.
I was just going to say I have no idea what that
Okay,
is.
for some reason that's like always stuck with me.
Okay.
But it like also kind of coincides with like the revolution and stuff. So it's just interesting.
Cool.
During the 17th century, Sophia Elisabeth Brenner began questioning gender roles, and she lived in Sweden. She was an educated aristocrat who began writing poetry soon after she got married. Her husband encouraged her to start writing poetry.
Oh, okay.
And in 1693, she wrote a poem called The Justified Defense of the Female Sex. And in this poem, she advocated that women are just as smart as men, which was a really like,
Very bold
whoa, yeah,
claim for
very
back
bold
then.
back then. In 1719, she also wrote another poem to the Queen of Sweden, where she talked about men and women being exactly the same besides their outward appearance. Basically, like just the way they look. Like
Mhm.
intelligence is the same, work ethic, all this stuff is the same,
Mhm.
which was also very bold for the time.
Yeah.
It was really in the 18th century, though, that these discussions really began to take place. So, more women started to speak out against the traditional gender roles and wanting change and more rights. And there were a lot of female journalists, and most of them wrote under pseudonyms, which I think was
Mm.
smart for the time
Yeah.
because they didn't know what kind of backlash they were going to get at
Mhm.
all. One of the most famous women from this time was Margareta Mama. I think it's pronounced Mama. It's
Okay.
Momma. So Margarita Mama, who wrote about
I
women,
love that.
I know, and in a lot of the sources I read, they just refer to her as Mama. So kind of funny. But she wrote a lot about women needing to be educated because they were as smart as men.
Mhm.
But women didn't really go get an education because that wasn't the norm.
Yeah.
But she wrote a lot about, hey, you guys need to get out here and get your education too. It's
Mhm.
important for everybody.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that you were saying that there was like a lot of female journalists and that her husband was even encouraging her to write poetry
Hmm.
because back then like women were just they did the housework. They didn't
Raise
get
the
an
kids.
education.
Yeah, they didn't get an education. Yeah, and I'm not quite sure like the circumstances with that. It's kind of hard to find information because it was so long ago.
Yeah.
But I think he was mostly just like, hey, like you should take this up as a hobby. And she was just
Yeah.
like, actually, I'm gonna do something with
Yeah.
it. But I think it's really cool. And like she didn't like start it, but she played a big role in beginning it.
Mhm. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. So Margareta, Mama, in addition to her saying that women were just as smart as men, she also talked about how women could also debate. So like women could like
Ooh.
have conversations and like keep up with political events and stuff. Like it didn't matter that they were women. It just was not something that they did.
Yeah, gender did not dictate if they could debate or not.
Exactly. Exactly. Some credit went to Mama for being the first identified female journalist in Sweden.
Ooh.
As you can see, intellectual recognition was a major theme of the early Swedish and Scandinavian feminism. Like that's kind of what made these women want to speak out
Mhm.
was them constantly being told you're not as smart as men because we all know that's not true.
Right.
Another woman named Hedvig Nordenfleicht. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Okay.
These are like all in another language.
It sounded like you pronounced it right
Thank
from
you.
my lack of knowledge, so
Thank you. Anyway, so Hedvig published many poems under her own name. So she didn't write under a pseudonym.
wow.
She published a lot of poems under her own name about female intellect and then more rights for women in general, property, marriage, jobs, that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
She wrote a poem titled The Lament of the Swedish Woman in
Mm.
1742, and she actually wrote it for the funeral of the queen. And in this poem, she specifically spoke out about more rights being given to women again. In 1753, she was admitted to the Order of Thought Builders. And this
Ooh,
was a group, yeah, this was a huge deal because she was the only woman in this group. And it was a literary group that was seeking to reform Swedish literature.
that's really cool though. Like, I'm sure obviously she's a pioneer for her time, being the first woman admitted into that group, and I'm sure that she contributed a lot of knowledge and brought so many ideas forward that the men never thought about, and they probably were like, "Oh, we should probably let more women in here.
Yeah.
They actually know what they're talking about."
Yeah, and something else cool about Hedvig is that she hosted a salon in her house. And it was here that she got to exchange ideas with a lot of great writers because a lot of writers went to her to have
Hmm.
them cut their hair, to have her
Okay.
cut their hair.
Mhm.
So she got to talk a lot and learn new things from other people, exchange ideas. So I think that definitely gave her a leg up on that, which I mean, she's kind of like an entrepreneur in that way. You know, like, hey, I'm going
She
to open a
is.
salon.
Yeah. She definitely is.
Yeah.
Yeah, from what it sounds like, she most definitely was an entrepreneur, and I just think it's really cool, like, she's combining, like, her business, like, cutting hair, or even if she just worked at the salon, whatever, she's combining, like, using what she does day to day to connect with people, to have
Network.
intellect yeah, literally
Basically
network.
network.
She literally founded LinkedIn.
Literally
That is what we're getting to.
literally 18th century LinkedIn.
Yeah, that's really cool though. Like she saw an opportunity everywhere to just have conversations, spread the message, write, do all the stuff that she wanted to do. And I think that's awesome.
Yeah, very very cool. So Sweden's first wave of feminism actually occurred in the 19th century. So all of these events that I've already talked about and all these women, these came before the first wave like officially began,
So they're pre-wave.
basically.
Okay.
Um so an event that really kicked this first wave off occurred in the 19th century, so 1800s. And a woman named Sophie Sager, she reported a rape attempt and then she actually won her case in court. And this was like
Wow.
unheard of. There
It's
were
kind of unheard of now.
yeah, there were a lot of mixed opinions about this, and a lot of people were unhappy that she was even just like speaking out for women
Oh my
in
gosh.
general. But then at the same time, there were also a lot of supporters and
Mhm.
people who believed her, wanted to push this forward. And so that is kind of what kicked off this first wave. In 1855, Josephina Deland, she founded the Society for Retired Female Teachers. And this was also a landmark in this wave of feminism for Sweden and Scandinavia
Mhm.
because at that time, being a teacher was one of the only jobs you could get as an educated woman.
Mm.
There weren't really jobs available,
Mhm.
even if you were educated,
Yeah.
especially if you weren't. It's kind of hard to find a job.
Yeah. I feel like feminism, like the different waves and everything, especially back then, it all starts with people just deciding to speak out. And in these two cases, like, actually trying to make a name for yourself or stand up for yourself and get justice, like, we live in a patriarchal society now. Imagine back then where it's a billion times more of a patriarchal society. Like, that would be so scary.
Yeah, and you don't have social media, so, like, you can't feel like, "Oh, I have other people on my side,"
Yeah.
like, when we were protesting, like, we had probably hundreds of maybe thousands of people. I don't know about that.
No, there was thousands.
Okay,
It
there
was
were
like 3,000, over 3,000.
so we had thousands of people
Mhm.
literally marching right next to us, but,
Yeah.
like, in this time when you're literally just in your house, taking
Mhm.
care of kids, pretty much isolated besides, like, your main friends and your husband, like,
Mhm.
you don't know that there's other people who will believe you until you come out and say something, and
Mhm.
that's scary.
That is scary, and also, like, it's not like it was just an easy thing or a normal thing to just pick up and move.
No,
Like, if things
no.
went wrong or if you got shamed or, like,
You were
anything went
done
wrong,
for.
you're done for and you're in that community because it's not like they could just hop on a plane.
Exactly.
They literally, like, have to get on a
Can
boat.
you imagine living oh my gosh,
Yeah.
no.
So
Absolutely not.
that's, like, it's hard enough now to speak out and, raise awareness for different things, but even back then, I can't imagine that, so props to
Mm-mm.
them. And they started, like, this whole wave.
Yeah. In 1902, the National Association for Women's Suffrage was founded. And then finally, in 1923, how many years later is that? 21? Took me a minute. So,
Mhm.
21 years later, women were legally awarded the same equal status as males.
Oh my gosh.
21 years later.
That's insane.
I know. But it's like the United States.
I know. And that's, like, in relatively, it's not even that long ago.
No, it's not. Not at all.
That is so crazy. Wow. So they really were fighting for those
Mhm.
rights, just like, in other countries too, but, like, they were fighting long and hard for many, many years.
Yeah, they were. And I don't know if you've ever heard about, like, Sweden being, like, the feminist country or anything, but, like, I've seen, like, a few articles about it
Aren't they
over the
run by a
years.
lot of women?
Yeah, so they have made gender equality a priority in their government.
Oh, okay.
So it depends on the office, but, like, every single area and aspect of their government, there's 45 to 50% females.
Oh, wow.
So it's pretty equal.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just think it's really great.
I do too. Yeah, I have heard some things about, like, how the different leaders, like, they are
Mhm.
led by a lot of women, and, I don't hear anything bad about Sweden ever really, so,
No.
like, good for
No.
them. Yeah, I think that's really cool. Obviously, a foundation has to start somewhere,
Right.
and we had so many women, and I think it's so interesting to learn about the how feminism started in other countries. And obviously, there's other stories of feminism, like, way far back, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm
Like, there
sure.
had to be people who spoke out, even, like,
Mhm.
in caveman times.
Mhm.
So, however they wanted to speak out. But it is really interesting to see how the foundations are built in different countries and see the similarities and differences around the world and to look at where we are today and to just, like, I don't know, honor the women who fought really hard to give us the rights that we have now, even though some just got taken
Yeah, I
away.
was like, "Eh."
But, we do have rights still.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it just sucks because they're were a lot of people and like are a lot of women that have fought for this
Mhm.
huge right,
Yeah.
and for it to be just taken away
Mhm.
so easily really sucks.
Yeah, it does. But it is really good to focus on like the rights that we do have, even when it is hard to see. And it's really cool to recognize the female leaders who fought so hard
And continue to speak out.
oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
but
there's a lot,
yeah, there's a lot and it's really interesting to recognize like the pioneers in their time. So,
for sure.
yeah.
Yeah, well, I hope you guys learned something from that. And like Haley said, we are going to be touching on different aspects of feminism and different types
Mhm.
in the coming episodes. So stay tuned for that and be sure to follow us on Instagram. As always, we are at Real Talk About Feminism Pod.
Yep, and if you have not subscribed to the email newsletter, we just are going to be sending out. We sent the first one out a few weeks ago, and we'll just send out a quick little recap of the episode. And every week on Sunday it's going to go out and it says the episode title, what we talked about, and the sources that we
And like
discussed.
resources
Mhm.
and like fun things going on. So be sure to subscribe. And we would love to just have you guys DM us if you want to send us your email.
Yeah, you can also go to our website, which is
Mm-hmm.
in our bio on Instagram, or it is realtalkaboutfeminismpod.com. And you just go to connect with us, fill out the contact form, and in the subject, you just put email newsletter, and we'll get you on the list. And then you can stay connected with us, and it'll only be once a week.
We will not spam you.
Nope, we will not.
Guaranteed.
Yeah, so join our little family and our little community of people who want to get the email newsletter.
All right. Well, if you guys have anything, as always, our DMs are always open. Message us with anything at any time. And we will talk to you guys next week.
Bye, everyone. We hope that you have a wonderful week.